gathered around her little white casket, wrote little notes on her casket. Sorry, this is because it did ping and it went off and you got caught.
No. He's obviously the person who behind the cover up.
Yes. Dismembered, decapitated. Probably because you're trying to hide something and make sure certain details don't come out.
Show cans of soup were found with holes in the lids.
A little over a week ago, on Saturday, October 24th, police responded to a 911 call in Sudden Valley, Washington, about an hour and a half outside of Seattle. A man who was renting a room inside a multi-level residence called the police to say he discovered his landlord and her two 7-year-old twin daughters deceased in the bedroom upstairs. When police arrived, they discovered what appeared to have been gunshot wounds. And the information that police soon discovered after that revealed a much darker and sinister murder than what they initially believed. This horrible tragedy in which this woman and her two 7-year-old twin daughters were brutally killed appeared to have been a murder-suicide at the hands of the daughter's own mother, who was also deceased, Michele Deegan. But why? Why would this woman kill herself and kill her two beautiful young 7-year-old daughters? What drove her to this decision? What was so horrible that she felt this was the only way out, to not only take her own life, but that of her two innocent young children? Before we jump into today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below to stay notified of new videos and upcoming live streams, and please like, comment, share this where you can. Now, as I started researching this case, I really wanted to learn the psychology behind murder-suicides. Why does this happen? What takes place? How common is this really? And I stumbled across an amazing documentary on MAGELLAN TV called Killer in the Family, who I also have to thank as today's sponsor. Now, you've heard me talk about MAGELLAN TV tons of times in the past. You know I am absolutely obsessed with this documentary streaming service. And what is so fantastic about them is they're adding content literally weekly, brand new content, and you can watch it from any device you want. Your tablet, your laptop, your phone, wherever you want. And they have so many different genres of documentaries for you to watch. I personally am always binging in their true crime area because there are just so many documentaries and I can't get enough of them. I'm always binging, but I absolutely love this service and you guys will too. If you haven't tried it yet, I highly encourage you to try it. And the best part is MAGELLAN is offering a free trial to all of you 10 to Life listeners. All you have to do is go to that link in the description box below. And I'm telling you guys, I know so many of you have tried it already and you've been messaging me and DMing me telling me how much you love it. If you haven't tried it, try it. You are going to be obsessed. So thank you to MAGELLAN TV for sponsoring this video and for giving me a little bit more insight into this horrible murder-suicide culture out there and helping educate me as to why this happens and how frequently it really does happen. So again, the documentary I'm currently watching is called Killer in the Family. Watch that if you are interested. So police receive this call and they go to the residence, they go into this bedroom and they discover those 3 bodies with gunshot wounds. They identify the homeowner as Michele Deegan, a 55-year-old woman. She's also a therapist. She apparently has her own private practice and she currently holds an active mental health counselor's license. They also identify the 2 twin girls, 7-year-old Mairy Deegan and 7-year-old Katie Deegan. But there were still so many unanswered questions. Why was this family brutally murdered in their own home? Why would this mother take the lives of her 2 young, innocent 7-year-old twin daughters and then take her life as well? Police began investigating and they discovered that there was quite a bit of family turmoil on top of an ongoing custody battle with the girl's father. In their ongoing custody dispute, just a couple of weeks ago on October 20th, a court awarded joint custody to both Michele and her estranged husband, the girl's father. The sheriff's office had said that the father was immediately ruled out as a suspect because he had a very strong alibi, and this is what actually first made them start examining the mother more closely. According to reports, investigators believe that Michele fatally shot the 2 girls in their bed while they were sleeping and then turned the gun on herself. They continue to say that the court hearing that had just happened a few days earlier when joint custody was awarded to both parents appears to have been the event which led Michele to her decision to take the lives of her daughters and her own. Now here's where things start to get a little interesting and we start to get a little bit closer of a look as to the mental state of Michele in the days leading up to this horrific tragedy and what may have been going on behind the scenes that maybe possibly wasn't public knowledge. A Facebook profile belonging to Michele includes recent posts that show that she was completely in crisis. The day before this apparent murder-suicide, she posted over 12 links to online news articles about narcissistic parents. And the articles that she had posted are called Narcissistic Parents' Psychological Effect on Their Children, The Impact of Growing Up with a Narcissistic Parent, Narcissistic Parenting, a Setup for Suicide, Narcissistic Abuse is Domestic Violence, Narcissistic Abuse and Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, Why Survivors of Malignant Narcissists Don't Get the Justice They Deserve, Murder, Death, Suicide by Convert Narcissistic Abuse, The Narcissist, From Abuse to Suicide, Suicide, Impact of Narcissistic Abuse and Recovering from It. I mean, there are just articles after articles after articles, over 12 of them, back to back the day before this murder-suicide took place. So it's clear that this woman was distraught. She was going through something very heavy emotionally, not to excuse, of course, any of her actions, but it begs the question, what was her mental state when all of this took place? What was going on in her head when she thought this was her only way out? In September, a month before all of this happened, just again 2 months ago from now, Michele also held a Facebook fundraiser for her birthday. And you can do this on Facebook where you post the charity that you want to fundraise for and have people send donations to. And she did this for her birthday in September. And the fundraiser she chose for those donations was support for DV and SA services in her nearby county. So was this just a custody dispute, or was there something more? Was she also a survivor of DV? Was there added layers to this that we have not yet been made privy to? Soon after the discovery of the 3 bodies, an autopsy was performed. And an autopsy on the 2 7-year-old twin girls determined that they had ingested high amounts of sedatives. The sheriff's office says that they probably were rendered incoherent at the time of the incident, meaning the killing. Which, I mean, we can only hope that they were completely unconscious and didn't feel anything. I mean, we can only pray that that's the case. But they were given a high amount of sedatives before this gruesome death. Now that opens the door to several more questions. Were they given these sedatives to ingest so that they wouldn't feel any pain because the mother didn't want them to be aware of what was happening or feel any pain or be scared? Or did they ingest these sedatives as a means to be unconscious and not fight back in the event that they did try to overpower their mom, even though, again, they're 7-year-old girls? What was the motive behind giving them the sedatives? Was it coming from a place of being a loving mother and not wanting them to be in the know of what was happening or feel any pain because she felt like she was saving their entire family? Or was it done in a calculated move so that they couldn't fight back and that they wouldn't be conscious? As you think about that, I want to quickly go back to those articles that were posted, because 10 of those 12 articles were posted literally within minutes of each other at 5 a.m. the day before the murder-suicide took place. The other 2 out of those 12 articles weren't posted until 6:45 p.m., but again, were posted back to back. So 10 of them were posted at 5 a.m., then the other 2 not until 6 p.m., and there was a huge lull of time in between where there were no posts and it was essentially radio silence. So does that mean that in that long pause is when she was waiting for the sedatives to kick in for the girls? Could that long pause have been after all of those rapid fire posts at 5 a.m., she killed the 2 girls in that early morning time before they woke up, and then waited until 6 p.m. after those other posts and turned the gun on herself? Or is it simply a coincidence that she posts 10 articles within a 5-minute period at 5 a.m. and then nothing again until the evening? That timeline, though, got me thinking and made me wonder what was happening in that gap of time. Also, I started thinking about all of these posts because while she was an active member on Facebook, she wasn't known for posting back-to-back articles like this in just a rapid-fire motion. So could these posts have been a version of a suicide letter that she was leaving behind to let the public know her state of mind, what her emotional state may have been? Or was she simply looking for answers because she was at an emotional breaking point? And so as she's reading these online articles, she's sharing everything that she's reading out on her Facebook. Was there a strategy behind it? Was it that she was just consuming all of this information because of the emotional mindset that she was in and pressing share to just put it on her page? Or was she sharing all of these in a calculated move to let the public know, to let family know, to let friends know, here's where I'm at, here's why this is happening, this is why I chose this path? I couldn't help but wonder what the strategy and the thought process may have been behind all of those posts. And further Do these articles in which she read and posted demonstrate how deeply she thought that their father was narcissistic and how it would be harmful for their girls, and it led her to this suicide? In some twisted way, did she think that she was taking on the pain of all three of them by ending it this way, thinking as though she's doing right by her daughters and absolving them of this pain and this abuse because of their narcissistic father? A neighbor told the local news station that the twins were rarely seen outside. One person who knew the family said that people were concerned about the girls as well. And the person who said Michelle was very deeply troubled said that she had also contacted child welfare services prior to this violent incident. So was there a follow-up to that call to child welfare services? Could this entire tragedy have been avoided somehow? How can our system improve and intervene before these tragic events take place? And that's a question I want your feedback. Please let me know in the comments below. We see this so often happen with CPS investigations, different family services, the court systems, to where by the time things are done, it's too late. So how can we improve our system so that we can intervene at the appropriate time to make sure that these tragic events do not take place? I'm hopeful that those sedatives that Katie and Mairy ingested means that they didn't feel any pain or terror in those final moments. In those final moments where their lives were so tragically cut short. And although I personally don't understand what drove Michelle to think that this was her only option and her only way out, I do hope that she found the peace that she was so desperately searching for. I just only wish that her two twin daughters didn't have to endure such a horrible ending to their short-lived innocent lives, because it's just so beyond tragic. In the next days, weeks, months, I'm hopeful that we learn more updates in this case so we can get a better understanding as to what layers really were in place to make her feel like this was her only way out. What was the mentality and her thought process when executing this horrific murder-suicide. And maybe if we learn more about it, we can help prevent it, because we can somehow intervene or know how bad these custody disputes really can become. Again, I don't know the details as to if there was DV involved. I don't know the issues as to what happened behind the scenes with her estranged husband, but I do want to extend my sincerest and deepest condolences for losing his two young daughters. I can't imagine the heartache and turmoil that that would cause on somebody as a parent, just to have those lives ripped from you so short. It's heartbreaking. Thanks for listening to today's case with me, you guys. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, comment, and share this where you can. And again, let me know your feedback in the comments below. Let's have a discussion. What do you feel we can do to improve our system to help intervene before these tragedies take place? And why does this happen? Why do people feel so backed into a corner as though this is their only option and their only way out? Thanks again, guys. Until the next case, stay safe. Bye.